I think it's important that people take responsibility for the areas that they live in. Development as a whole is always increasing, but that doesn't mean we should lose the heritage of the sites that are being built on. My name's Tom. I'm a mixed media artist in Gosport and I live on the Daedalus estate. Daedalus, to me, on a personal level, is where I live with my wife. That's our first place that we've brought together. So it's kind of home to me. Being from Gosport, I've always lived in Gosport, not Lee on Solent. So moving to Lee, that's kind of where my home is based now. So my family has deep roots into Gosport and into the naval history. My dad played football on Daedalus quite often. I've got a allotment that's on the site by Daedalus that used to be used for the playing fields. My father-in-law was a submariner and he was based around here. My granddad was a submariner. So my whole kind of heritage is around the naval history of Gosport that's linked quite heavily into Daedalus. So living on the Daedalus estate, one of the modern day features is the Spitfire that takes off over the summer. I could have the privilege to be able to sit in my garden and watch that fly over. But it really got me interested in what the history of Daedalus was about. The building that's no longer there but was called Overlord, and I was really interested about all the old buildings that are on the site. So doing some history and some digging, realised that Operation Overlord was kind of the starting point of D-Day and where people and everyone took off from in June 1944. So I thought it was a really cool thing to kind of delve into the history, and whilst I was looking at it and watching the Spitfire fly over, I thought that'd be a really cool thing to spray paint. So I've painted a big mural that's now sat on the Daedalus estate of the Spitfire that represents Operation Overlord, which was the starting point of D-Day. With the development of the Daedalus estate, it's a real opportunity for the local community to document the history of the site. It's now quite small and just the airfield, but back in the war and leading up to its closure, it was a huge estate. So having houses on there now and redevelopment is really important to kind of remember what was there and what was before. And I've got a few ideas of how we can do that by putting some paintings, sculptures, murals up on the site to really remember the history that it's played in the war and in Gosport. I think it's really important to remember where we've come from, even if you don't have any connections with the Navy or the site or anything else like that. Gosport as a whole played a huge part in the war and just the naval history throughout Great Britain. So it's not about today, it's about remembering the past and showcasing all the lives that kind of were sacrificed for us to be here today. My father-in-law is very talented. He was a submariner and at sea for many years, but he's also very talented in writing. A couple of years ago, he wrote a poem that he sent to me just off the cuff, just something that came to him. And I thought it was really important to kind of cement that into the fact that he has that heritage and that history with the Navy and with the site and with Gosport that should be immortalised, and that's why I painted a mural with his poem on there with a Tommy Soldier for Remembrance Day to showcase that it's still prevalent in today's day and age that we remember those that helped in the past. I'm most excited about having an expanded community. It's a lot of dead area at the moment. It's a lot of old buildings that aren't being used. And I think the project that they're going with and all the different phases will add so much more to the community and actually expand out and really bring in the heritage of that site, reusing the old buildings and not just knocking them down, and kind of remembering what was there is really important for that community. I personally am privileged to be able to drive home every evening, and especially in the summer where you've got the Spitfire flying over your head, you've got cruise liners, the Solent, the sun's shining. There's not many places in the world that you can have that mix of different kind of scenes all in one place. With it, what's going on in Daedalus and the expansion of the businesses and the homes, I think it's really good for the community that it is expanding. We're getting a diverse range of businesses and people and culture coming into the area to celebrate the heritage that was there before, but also then growing it for the future. So this is the poem written by my father-in-law, Colin Mould, that I painted. Take a simple poppy, hold it in your hand, and think of a brave souls laid to rest in a foreign land. Look at the vibrant colour, a vivid shade of red, stirring thoughts of blood, brave souls said. Catch it in the sunlight, see how it seems to glow, basking in the warming rays, brave souls no longer know. Look at the jet black centre, so dark and somewhat cold, reflecting how brave souls lie, remains of those so bold. Now think of those that centre, will burst, siege running rife, symbolic of sacrifice, brave souls made to give us life. Brave souls are not forgotten, the poppy makes it so. Its alliance to remembrance will ensure that we all know. It's down to future generations to consider the poppy's worth and give it a thought for how brave souls gave all the peace on earth.